Hey guys, Bjorn here again, Goosebumps #1 Aussie fan, bringing you another video. This one I'm going to be talking about the top 5 hardest Goosebumps books to find, in my opinion. I had a few comments asking to do a video on this, so yeah, let's get started. So yeah guys, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 hardest Goosebumps books to find, starting with number 5 and working your way up to the hardest one in the number 1 spot. So yeah, book number 5 that I think is the 5th hardest book to find, I would probably put that as Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls. That is a very hard Goosebumps book to find. I didn't find my first copy until I was oh yeah, I remember now. I actually found the UK copy of it first, with like the bubbles kind of like down the bottom and then you got the writing there. I found it at Carrara Markets, which is like, yeah, this big marketplace we have that only runs like on the weekends. And I remember finding it there because the guy always used to have like big bulk loads of Goosebumps books. I always asked him, how do you get so many? But I mean, look at me now, I've got hundreds of I got thousands of Goosebumps books, what am I saying? So yeah, I kind of get it, you know, over time you'll eventually find heaps. But yeah, I remember I found my first copy of Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls at the Carrara Market, and it was a UK copy. It was good condition though, it was really good. But then a few years later I did start finding a couple more. I think I've got 3 copies now. I mean, of course you can buy the book now, like the reissue cover, like the new cover, but I'm talking the original cover. But yeah, I eventually found another copy which was like the Australian American, you know, the usual Series 2000 covers. It wasn't the best condition, but then not even like a year later I found one in perfect condition at the book festival. So yeah, that I would probably put in number 5. Number 4, I would probably put The Mummy Walks, the Series 2000. Honestly, I don't know why I could not find that book. I mean, I knew that one existed because in the back of the book, obviously you have, you know, you check off all the different books that you know, you can get, and in the Series 2000s, and that was one of the books that it took me so long to check it off, you know what I mean? I think I got my first copy 4 or 5 years ago, but I found like 5 copies in the last 3-4 years, like at the book festival. I always find it now. Like it was just hard to find it the first time, but then once I did find it, I sort of just kept finding more and more and more. But yeah, I would definitely put that one at number 4. Number 3 hardest book to find, All Day Nightmare, the Give Yourself, book number 42. That is so hard to find. It is like, okay, I had to buy my copy from I went to a bookshop. The lady said, oh, I think we have that book, and she wasn't sure. So she went into the back and she was like, oh yeah, we did have a copy. So she brought it out. It was good, like perfect condition. And then she looked up online how much it's worth, because this was an antique book shop, so they sell books based on like what they're worth. And online it was like $30 or something, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, oh great. And she's like, well, I'll sell it to you for $20. So I paid $20 for that book. That's like probably one of the most expensive Goosebumps books I've had to buy, other than Living Dummy Collection, you know, the book with the Living Dummy 1, 2, and 3, and it's like got Slappy's eyes on it. I've got 2 copies of that. But yeah, that book I also had to pay like $30-40 to get that, and that was at that same shop. But that was like a whole year later until I found that one. But yeah, that's actually one of the books hard to find too, Living Dummy Collection. It's not that old. I think it came out in like, I think it actually came out like even in the early 2000s or late 90s. I can't remember, but that book's not actually that old, like compared to the other Goosebumps books. But that was actually hard to find too. But we're going based on just the single, you know, books. Number 2, oh my god, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes TV book. That is so hard to find, the TV book of Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. Dude, it is like the hardest Goosebumps book. Well, not obviously the hardest. Well, I found that before finding... Actually, no, did I? No, I found it after finding Slappy's Nightmare. I did. but I found 3 copies of it now, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes TV book. But dude, that book is so hard, like it's not even on eBay. That's how hard it is to find. And when it is on eBay, it's expensive. Oh, how much did I notice it on there for? I saw it on eBay for like $30, $40. And I'm not even kidding. And it was like, wasn't even like perfect condition. It just said good condition. I was like, whoa. That book is hard to find. I think it was like the last, or the second last, one of the very last TV books. And that was kind of when the Goosebumps like was sort of, like, that's what I've noticed. The Series 2000s are harder to find because that was when Goosebumps was sort of fading away and then Harry Potter was coming in kind of thing. And I think that's just why some of those later books are harder to get, and Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes was like one of the last TV books. So yeah, it's very hard to find that book. But I have found a few copies. I have at least one of every Goosebump book. I think I have, I think I have 2 of every book at least. I don't think I've only got 1 of a certain book. No, I don't. I have at least 2 of every book, guys. So yeah, I have a couple thousand, but then I have like 20 copies, 30 copies of Night of the Living Dummy. And that's because I'm a Goosebumps collector, and it's so hard to find them now. A lot of you guys have actually been asking me to do giveaways. I don't know, like, I'm thinking about it. I might do it, but at this stage it's a no. But I'll think about it. I may do a giveaway. The hardest book of all time, I've already said it in another video, Slappy's Nightmare. It is a nightmare to find that book. I have found 2 copies, one in good condition, the other in good condition as well. But not like perfect, like it's got a little bit of a bend on the back, but it's pretty much perfect. But yeah, that to me is probably the hardest Goosebump book to find. It probably isn't the hardest Goosebump book to find to some of you guys, but for me it was to find it. So I'm just putting it at number 1 because it was the to find, you know what I mean? But yeah, eventually I found it, and yeah, it's on my shelf. I got actually 1 copy right up the tip top, and I've sort of like buried it beneath stuff so that it doesn't get like, you know what I mean? I'm keeping it so well protected. But then of course I have 1, you know, in with the actual sets, because as you guys have probably seen in my collection videos, I have like all the sets put together. Like I have all the copies of Night of the Living Dummy 1, and then all the copies of Girl Who Cried Monster, and then you know, like all the different in the order that they go. But then I have like every book of each one together. But yeah, that's my top 5, in my opinion, hardest Goosebump books to find. I'm sure a lot of you it's probably completely different, because you may have found 5 copies of Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes TV book in your lifetime, but for me, no, not 5 copies. But yeah guys, that's everything pretty much to say for this video. I'll see you guys again soon.